Howdy ho people, it's time to cook, and tonight we're making carbonara, the classic way, and we're using this, which is guanciale, not bacon, not prosciutto or whatever else you may think of. The real Italian carbonara is made with guanciale and pecorino romano, eggs, and pepper. Lots of freshly ground pepper. Lots of pepper. And that's it. That's how simple it is. We're going to start by taking a large pot, filling it up with water, and boiling the pasta. And I recommend using a good pasta. Don't buy the cheap stuff you get at supermarkets, the yellow thing. You need something. For this tonight, I've chosen fettuccine. A good porous surface, something that really holds the sauce. Extrapolata in copper. This has been extracted in copper forms the way it's supposed to be. All right, water in the pot and let it boil. Now, I would actually recommend that you start up by dicing out your guanciale and frying that up, because it needs to fry at low heat for a long time, okay? So dice it up. It doesn't have to be all tiny bits, but it can be chunky because most of this is fat, and that fat's going to render when you cook it. So don't worry about that. Right, so here we go. The guanciale is all carved up and looking good. Now, big pan. I use this because then I can make the sauce and the pasta and that as well. So let's get that up to like a medium heat. And chuck in the guanciale. There we go. Right, in the meantime, we can prepare our crema, and we'll do that by adding 4 egg yolks. I'm making this for 4 people, so I'm adding 4 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs. So we'll do 2 whole eggs and 4 yolks, and that should be enough. So let's whisk that up. Alright, and you'll get this looking nice and fluffy like that. And then we'll add in the pecorino romano. Alright, just chuck it in there. Make sure you mix that thoroughly around here. Give it a good mix. You'll end up with this crema. You can't see because of the light, so I'll do like this instead. Right now you can see it. There it is. A lovely crema that we're making. And crema needs a bit of pepper. Now, I am a bit old-fashioned, so I really like to take whole peppercorns and crush them in this. Because then you just get the freshest, the best pepper. I'll tell you, this is the best pepper of them all. Yeah. There we go. Not too finely. Don't do it too finely, but just enough. And I'll just grab a little spoon here and put a good amount of pepper in here. The rest of the pepper I will use for later. Save that for later. But this, just give that a good stir. And then our crema is finished and ready to be put on the hot pasta. So, be back in just a minute when we've fried up some of this guanciale. As you can see, put it on a little bit more heat. There we go. And we'll just leave that. You gotta let that fry up a bit to make it really good. Right? So, there we are. Be back in a jiffy. One more thing I forgot to tell you, but you probably already know this. You need to salt the water. The water in which you boil the pasta needs to be salted, and you cannot, in this case, be afraid of salt. Like a decent handful for a big pot. Someone once told me that the water you boil your pasta in should be as salty as the sea, as the Mediterranean Sea, which is very, very salty. So, don't worry about it. Don't be afraid to salt it. And the last ingredient you need for your crema, we're going to have to wait a bit with that because that's the pasta water. But that means the pasta has to boil first, then we just add a little bit, like a little bit of pasta water to emulsify everything and make it rich and creamy. So the water is boiling, the guanciale is coming along nicely. It won't be long until I have to take that out. Do not throw out the fat. Keep the fat. Keep the fat. Fat has never killed anyone, and you need a good amount of fat to stay healthy. So don't worry about fat, okay? Seriously, don't worry about fat. Look at me, I'm healthy. Okay. Well, you still need a lot of fat to stay healthy, so don't worry about it. Right. I have I've removed all of the guanciale from the pan, but I've left all the oil in here because we're gonna twirl the pasta around in that oil, and then we're gonna add the crema. The pasta is cooking, and now I will take roughly about a spoonful of water and put it slowly into the crema so it doesn't start to cook the crema, because we don't want that. We just want to emulsify it, liquefy it, and actually melt some of the cheese already so that it will be ready for when we put it over the pasta. Right, there we are. Perfect. Now look at this, look at this. This is beautiful. Check it out. Here's my emulsified, completely ready crema. And the pasta is starting to look good as well. So I've turned down the heat on the pan. I'll just not ready. Oh. Right. So pasta back in the pan. Here a little sizzle. It's because I've got to turn it all the way down. Just make sure you get all of that good guanciale oil in your pasta, and then we add the crema. Don't need that. There we go. We're just going to add the crema, and then we're going to let the residual heat cook it for us as we swirl it around in the pasta. And then you're going to end up with something that looks like this. Creamy goodness. Hang on. I'll bring you in a little closer. I'm kind of hoping that you can hear me through this noise with the fan. Not a fan, a fan. But it does keep my kitchen from smelling of cooked bacon and, in this case, guanciale and whatnot. Okay. Look at that. This is ready. So it's time to plate it up. And let's see how we can do that in the most prominent way. So, one plate. If you don't know it, this can help you. There we go. And a bit of pepper on that. There we go. Pepper. And of course, I'm going to add the guanciale on top. And there you have it. Fettuccine al carbonara. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again next time. And God knows what I'll cook then. Now, if you leave a follow and leave a comment, you could suggest my next meal. If you don't, I'll just make something I like. Bye.